What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ashley Jackson. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the defensive ends that the Dallas Cowboys should look for in free agency, with that being one of our needs in the draft. And I'm putting our list of needs on the screen right now. So before we hop to the video, I appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. Hopping straight into it. Now, I know when you guys click on this video, it's going to be kind of like, you know, we don't really need defensive end and things of that nature. But if you look at our defensive lines, the past 3 years since Dan Quinn has been here, we started out to a very fast start in the first. Anywhere from like weeks of NFL football, we're a really great defensive line. We're one of the best in the league in terms of getting pressures, sacks, stops, and all the other stuff, right? And then towards that latter part of that season, around early, late November after Thanksgiving, early December, that entire month of December leading into the playoffs, that defensive line loses its legs, and we deal with a lot of injuries. Guys aren't as explosive like they were the first 10 weeks of the season. That's everybody in the NFL. But I felt like the Dallas Cowboys should look at the defensive end spot, because if you look at it right now in terms of who's on your roster under contract, that's Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams, Junior Fehoko, who we didn't see play it down in the league yet, Chauncey Golston, and that's about it. You have pending free agents with Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler. So, if you're Dallas Cowboys, you kind of got to look at your defensive end room right now. Then you got to think about DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be around here for too much longer. So you got to think about what you're going to do with him. Micah Parsons, if you're thinking about moving him around, I think it's very key that you bring in a true defensive end into this team, because I already talked about it before about how Micah Parsons was the best defensive player in 2021 when we had Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, just a rotation of pass rushers, and we were able to put Micah Parsons everywhere we could, along that front seven. So really, with me, one of my most targeted free agent I will look at right now from the Dallas Cowboys, it's two of them, but like I said, the main one I'll be looking at right now is Shaq Barrett. He was released, I think, about a couple of days ago from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the reason why I would like a guy like Shaq Barrett on this team is because if you just look at the overall history with him, he won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. He won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's a really great guy. He's like a 10 sack, anywhere from 10, high end 15.5 sack guy. He's really that dude. When it comes to defensive ends, he's very severely underrated in this league. We always think about the Myles Garrett, TJ Watts, Micah Parsons, and we think about all these, Nick Bosa, we think about all these premier edge talents in the league, but we severely look over Shaq Barrett. And I think that is somebody that the Dallas Cowboys should be looking at to scoop up. Understand that last year he only had 4.5 sacks. He forced three fumbles. He had 1 interception last year. But I really think that he's a really solid player, and I think, with him not having such of a great season last year, I think this is a guy that we can scoop up for probably not that expensive of a deal. I think we can bring him in. Again, he has that veteran leadership. He's going into his 10th year into the league. Like I said, he's already had 2 Super Bowls. I think that he's a really great player, and I think that bringing him in will be tremendous for us. And then the second person I was thinking about that the Dallas Cowboys should bring in is Danielle Hunter. And the reason why I'm even bringing up Danielle Hunter is because he did get he was selected by the Minnesota Vikings in the 3rd round and a pick 88 in 2015, and of course was brought in underneath that Mike Zimmer regime. And I think bringing him in somewhere who he's familiar with, an defensive coordinator with Mike Zimmer, I think bringing in Danielle Hunter is a really great talent. Last year he had 16.5 sacks. He forced 4 fumbles. He had 54 solo tackles. He's just a machine coming off that edge. And I think having him opposite of D-Law would be tremendous for the Dallas Cowboys. And he is going to garner a pretty decent contract. Now, I don't know what the exact numbers could potentially look like, but you can see him getting anywhere from about $20 to $25 million a year that's just starting out at his position. And like I said, I think a cheaper option could be Shaq Barrett. He is 31 years old. He turns 32 November 17th. So, and Danielle Hunter, he is, let's see, he's 29. So 2 years age gap. I think that if you bring in either one of those guys, it would be really great to help out your defensive end room. I think another person who we can bring in possibly on a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal that's not so expensive, I think that has a lot of upside, will be Chase Young. He had a really solid year for the San Francisco 49ers down the stretch of that season. He did get a sack in the Super Bowl. He was a really great addition by the Niners, and they gave up a 3rd-round pick to get him. And I don't think that the Niners can retain him because they have to. Again, I think they have to pay, or they probably already paid Nick Bosa. You got to think about, they got to pay Brock Purdy pretty soon. He's going into his 3rd year of his basically going to his last year of his deal with the undrafted free agent quarterback deal that he's on right now. Is only undrafteds only have 3 years on their deal. So since he's going into his last year of his deal, they're going to have to pay him. Brandon Ayuk is going to have to get paid, whether it's by the Niners or by somebody else. So you got to think about that. And I don't think Chase Young can stay around. I think he might be the odd man out. So I think that if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you come in, swoop him up. He's 24 years old. You could possibly, like I said, get him on a 2-year, 3-year deal. Nothing too super expensive. I think you can bring him in, have him opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, and just have him in this room. And I think having him will be really nice, and adding him to this defensive line group, I would not be mad at that at all. He's a defensive end, defensive tackle, Calais Campbell. I would love to bring him in. He's a 3-4 defensive end. I would love to bring him in for, again, veteran leadership, locker room presence. I would love to bring in Leonard Williams. He was a defensive tackle for the Giants. Prior to that, the Jets. He was with the Seattle Seahawks. And, him playing for the, New York Giants, we did play against Leonard Williams a lot, and he is a beast in the middle of that defense. And again, I'm not mad, or I wouldn't be mad bringing in defensive tackle, whether it's through the draft or free agency, because again, Mozzie Smith, Jonathan Hankins, Oso Digizua does not stop me from drafting another defensive tackle. Again, I felt like we do need to resign Dorrance Armstrong. I wouldn't mind bringing Brian Burns. I wouldn't mind trading for him, but of course he's going to be a lot of draft capital, but who knows what you could possibly get out of him. Jadeveon Clowney, but he doesn't mind getting a 1-year deal. I think bringing in Jadeveon Clowney for a 1-year deal, very, very cheap. I think the Joneses will like that, and that'll be more up their pocketbook. They wouldn't mind spreading some spare change on Jadeveon Clowney, bringing him in for pretty cheap. Cleveland Farrell, bring him in as a rotational guy. So if you want to bring him in on a year deal, have him replace Dante Fowler, I wouldn't be mad at that. I think that's pretty much it of the guys that I would like for the Dallas Cowboys to bring in as defensive ends. Again, my 2 dream scenarios would be Shaq Barrett or Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter will be more on the expensive side. True pass rush defensive ends, Chase Young, I would like. He's really young. Again, with former number 2 overall pick. I think that is right up the Dallas Cowboys' alley. They can bring him in and bring him in on a cheap deal. And I think that he can be possibly your defensive end of the future if he pans out on the contract that we do sign him to, if that does happen. Brian Burns, I wouldn't mind trading for him if something pops up for there. Jadeveon Clowney, again, I wouldn't solely rely on him, but I would love to bring him in as that rotational defensive end. Cleveland Farrell, same thing, rotational. I wouldn't mind that at all. If Dallas Cowboys want to bring back Randy Gregory, I wouldn't be mad at that. Zadarius Smith, again, was really great for the Packers. Bring them in here for the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't be mad at that. Again, that would be a little bit on the more expensive side, but I wouldn't be mad at that. Leonard Floyd, if we're going to pick up somebody, I wouldn't mind bringing him in on a 1 to 2 year deal. Again, somebody who can replace that Dante Fowler or Dorrance Armstrong production. I think Leonard Floyd can do that. Josh Allen, the defensive end, from Jacksonville. I would not mind at all picking him up and bringing him in for the Dallas Cowboys, and I wouldn't mind paying him a pretty penny for him to be opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, have him, D-Law, Micah roaming around. I think that would be really nice. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it on the defensive ends and outside linebackers who play defensive end. I wouldn't mind bringing those guys in. Again, defensive end is a very sneaky need for the Dallas Cowboys, and that is something that not a lot of people are talking about. And I feel like that the Dallas Cowboys should address that moving forward, but especially in the free agency department. And again, there are 3 ways into building your team. That is through trades, free agency, and drafting. So those are all part of team building. I think Dallas Cowboys need to partake in all 3 if they want to be all in. That's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.